are looking live at St. Peter's Square there in Vatican City, where crowds have been gathering to honor Pope Francis. We saw him for the last time on the balcony over that square on Easter Sunday, as we know. And so let's go right back to Michael, who's there at the Vatican for us this morning. Michael?
Hey, Robin. You know, as the church mourns the passing of Pope Francis, the process beginning to choose his successor. Well, all cardinals eligible to participate in the conclave will be summoned to Rome. And of 252 cardinals, 135 are eligible, making this the largest and most diverse conclave on record, many appointed by Francis himself. Father John Walk is here to discuss the conclave with us. But first, here's a look at the process steeped in symbolism and secrecy. It's an ancient tradition shrouded in secrecy. With the world watching, thousands gather in St. Peter's Square waiting for that white smoke, heralding the election of a new pope.
Extra omnes.
Behind the closed doors of the Sistine Chapel, known as a conclave, the mysterious conference captivating Hollywood.
We're about to choose the most famous man in the world.
In the world. After Pope Francis is laid to rest, the process to replace him will begin.
After they have an opening mass, they meet in the Sistine Chapel. They have generally 2 votes in the morning, 2 votes in the afternoon, until they reach a 2/3 majority and know that at that point they've elected a pope.
It could take days before that white smoke fills the sky over Vatican City, signaling a new head of the Catholic Church has been selected. 252 cardinals will descend upon Vatican City to vote. They must be under 80 years old. In this conclave, there will be 135 eligible cardinals. 108 of them were appointed by Pope Francis.
He appointed the vast majority of this body of cardinal electors. That doesn't mean, however, that he has appointed people of a similar mindset.
Habemus Papam.
When a 2/3 majority is reached, the voting process will conclude. While there's no way to know who will eventually lead the church, some of the cardinals being considered. 70-year-old Cardinal Pietro Parolin from Italy, the Vatican's Secretary of State since 2013. 67-year-old Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle from the Philippines, who has led the Missionary Evangelization Office and could become the first Asian pope. And 72-year-old Archbishop of Budapest, Peter Erdo, who twice served as head of the Council of European Episcopal Conferences.
We're going to get another pope who is invested in the full panoply of Catholic teachings, but who might have particular emphases that he thinks are necessary because of the times we live in.
Well, whoever the next pope will be will have a big impact. And joining me now is ABC News papal contributor, Father John Walk. And Father Walk, thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be
here on GMA. And we know the conclave, it's a very secretive process, but can you take us inside of it a little bit and tell us what the next days and nights are like for the cardinals involved?
Well, I mean, the conclave is secret in the sense that it's taking place behind closed doors, but it's a little different from most things that are secret, whereas your usual secrets are things you want to hide from people. That's not really what this is about. This is about keeping the cardinals away from external influences. It's not that they're doing anything particularly secret. In fact, what they do is known in general to the whole world. The rules for the conclave are public rules. It's just we're not on the inside, and they're being kept away from the outside. That's a different type of secrecy that's being lived to protect them, essentially, so that they can focus on their work without being influenced by considerations that are not the influences of the Holy Spirit.
And of the 135 cardinals we said that are eligible to participate, this is the most diverse a group that there's been on record. But what dynamics are you looking for? Could it be conservative versus liberals? What are the dynamics there?
I don't think that the division between conservatives and liberals is necessarily the most important consideration, and partly because those words mean different things to different people, especially in different parts of the world. What is a liberal in Africa is not a liberal in Asia or Latin America or Europe or the United States. And what it means to be conservative depends where you are. So we're going to see different kind of categories at play here. Some of it has to do simply with how you run the church, the style of governance. That really doesn't have an ideological or a sort of even theological, dimension to it. It's a question of who is capable of exercising the very difficult role of being the head of 1.3 billion Catholics of all these different countries and nationalities and points of view. It's a huge job, and just the talent, the administrative talent, really,
to take that
is often a central issue.
Yeah. Is there anyone you feel has an inside track, and could we see the first American Pope?
Well, I think there's a number of considerations. One would be you want to look for someone, probably look for someone who has experience running a major diocese. Mm-hmm. If you're thinking about the capacity to run the church, right? On the other hand, maybe you're looking for someone who's a more prophetic figure, someone who's guided by their life of prayer and their contact with God, right? A man of obvious holiness, right? Might be a candidate as well. So those are parts of the decision-making process that the cardinals and the congregations are going to be talking about, and that's a huge part of their day and their night during this period is going to be getting to know each other, because many of them don't know each other yet. They haven't come to Rome together before. This is an opportunity to get to know their different points of view and also the personalities. Each one of them, in theory, is a possible pope, and they have to be evaluated by their peers, and that's going to be going on during the congregations.
And that could take quite a while to do. But many of the cardinals participating, they were all named by Pope Francis. So
exactly.
What do you think his greatest legacy will be?
I don't know. Well, obviously, the College of Cardinals is the legacy of any pope, right? If they have time, if it's a papacy that lasts long enough, the College of Cardinals will have been shaped by them. They're shaping the people who will choose their successor, right? And you would think that means that they're shaping their successor, but in practice, it doesn't work that way. We've seen great surprises. John Paul II was the first non-Italian pope in 500 years. No one was expecting that, right? Yeah. And Pope Francis was not expected to be elected either. People said, oh, he's too old. He missed his chance the time before. And yet, the very cardinals who had been named, not by Pope Francis, but by Benedict and John Paul II, elected Francis. So all bets are off. Once they're in the conclave, who knows what's going to happen? Yeah,
so you don't know what's going to happen, Absolutely. But we appreciate you giving us a little insight into it.
Take care.
Brother Walker, thank you
Pleasure.
So much. We appreciate that. Now back you guys in New York.
I guess he's saying expect the unexpected. All right, Michael, we're going to get back to you in just a little bit, but we want everyone to know that tonight they can see an ABC News special, Francis, the People's Pope, at 10/9 Central here on ABC.